Hello YouTube! I am Penstock and this is Big Pharma First Impressions Look, Episode 2. So when we last left our productive little company of Pinstar Productions, we just got our 2 products online. Our first entry, the Gut Chiller, making us a little bit of money, and then our second entry, the AA Special, making us a boatload of thing. Hooray for curing lizards, for combating liver disease. Woo! So, on to our next item. We've got ourselves 2 more windows here, and we've got ourselves got a couple of things we can do to grow. Now, if you remember, I mentioned in a previous. Hang on a second. Music's a little bit louder than I'd like. That's better. I mentioned in a previous one that we'd be trying to do something about the induces nightmares side effect on here. Now, unfortunately, we can't remove it outright. And if we drop the concentration outside of the nightmares effective range, we lose the combat liver disease, and that's kind of the whole point of doing that. So, there's a couple of things we can do. Well, actually, there's one thing we can do. So we're going to go and do that. So remember how we have the pill printer here? Well, that's not the only show in town. There are actually 4 different ways you can get your medicine to market. Although in this easy level, there's only 2. Because again, they've just sort of trimmed back the tech tree a little bit just to keep things simple. But the next one here is the creamer. The alternative. The creamer reduces the strength of the side effects in drugs, and also has a low process time. Well, since we can't get rid of the side effect in the drug, reducing its strength is the next best thing. So we want to research towards the creamer. Unfortunately, to get to that, we need to get alternative delivery. So our 2 scientists are going there. We've got 2 points to spend here on upgrades. Now, a couple of things we could do to help ourselves out. The agglomerator here is a possibility here. Now notice we've already upgraded it once. If we want to upgrade it again, it now costs us 2 light bulbs, and it doubles every single time. So the early upgrades are the low-hanging fruit, but not so much with the others. That being said, I think we'd get the most bang for our buck by upgrading this again, since we use so many of these machines on our lines, and we might use more with our next drug. Speaking of our next drug, I think it's high time we start researching another one. Now, we've got our Explorer here, but unfortunately this next one, the Vine Borer, requires 2 Explorers. But, you know what, we're making a good amount of money. We have a good amount of money, so let's hire a second Explorer and set them on that task. Now you'll notice here that we've generated 2 exploration points. These explorers, when they're idle, just like scientists, will generate points for you. And instead of decreasing the cost of processes, you can decrease the cost of your raw ingredients. So since we're using these 2 raw ingredients, we'll give ourselves a 10% discount on each of them. So now our raw ingredients are a little bit cheaper for both of our drugs. So that will help improve our margins even further. Now, as far as what our next drug is, well, remember how I was saying we don't like the cough so much? Well, I still don't like it for a cough, but maybe if we upgrade the cough to ease asthma, maybe the asthma medication's effective range will be outside of the nausea range, or at the very least it'll be valuable enough to make us not worry about the nausea. So we're gonna make an attempt at this one. So in order to upgrade our soothe cough, we need to get the concentration down to between 8 and 11. We're at 14, so we got to drop it a few stages here. Now, to drop it by 3, we needed to have had the ionizer, I should say. And that's a good thing to have anyway. So, you know what, I'm going to hire 1 more scientist and sick them on the ionizer so they can start developing that. But in the meantime, we will use just dissolvers. It's actually cheaper to use the dissolvers and the evaporators than it is to use these, because 3 of these unupgraded will cost you 10 each. That's 30, and move it by 3 stages. Each of these cost you unupgraded 35 to move it by 3 stages. So these are a little bit less cost efficient, but a bit more space efficient. So it's not the end of the world to use dissolvers, and this is what I like about this game. Just because you know, like, it's not like okay, we've discovered these two machines, so we're never ever going to use these two. No, these two remain very much viable and useful throughout the game, which is nice. I like that. All right, so we're going to see how we can pack these nice and tightly. Actually, I like it better like this. There we go. And then, yes, kind of nestle them in there real quick, get the maximum space efficiency. And we need 3 of these, right? Let me just double check. Cough, we're at 14. Yes, we need 3 of them. So, a 3rd dissolver. Yeah, we could put a, well, yeah, we rotate it. Yeah, actually, this is a little bit better. Put you against the wall. Oop. Oh, we're out of money. That's okay. We can take a loan. We don't need a big loan. In the harder difficulties, it's kind of necessary to take out loans if you want to keep yourself growing at a decent pace. Alright, so once we, now according to this, once we've got the concentration right, we need to run it through one of those things. I'm going to stop trying to pronounce them. Now this might seem kind of counterproductive because we just ran it through to drop the concentration by 3, and now we're going to run it through the thing that increases it by 3, so we're going to be right back at a 14. Well, we need to do that in order to transform the soothes cough into eases asthma. So you're gonna see, especially as you get to the more and more advanced things, you're gonna be bouncing the concentration all over the freaking place for your drugs. So no, that's not gonna work. That might work. That might work better. Yeah, there we go. And then once we have to, oh yeah, it would be helpful if I actually ordered some of this stuff. So once this stuff makes its way through the production line here, we'll know at the end of this thing what the concentration is for the eases asthma. There's no way to find out until you actually get it to that point. And what do we have here? Street food. I've got a lot less hygienic. Slip through the net. Cases of stomach ulcers have increased as more people suffer from food poisoning. So there's these little random events that will pop up from time to time. Let me drop the factory volume there a little bit there. That will drop up from time to time that will affect the supply and demand. Now, unfortunately, we're doing acid reflux. We are not doing the stomach ulcers, which is the upgraded version of it. We might want to look into that for our next expansion, especially with that special event going on. But first, I want to take care of this pill right here. All right, so yeah, I mean, we could, if we wanted to, bottle this as cough syrup right now, but no, we're going for the big league here. So yeah, it brings us right back up to a 14, and now we're down to eases asthma. Now, if you'll notice, the first off, we could actually upgrade it to a Tier 3 cure if we had a catalyst in there. We don't have a catalyst in here, so I'm not going to go for that. But there's also a way to get it past the nausea. If we drop the concentration down to a 5, it'll be active for easing asthma, but we will have dodged the inducing nausea. Now, the also thing to note is that asthma doesn't pay as well as liver disease. It pays about half as well. So we're not going to be making the boku bucks from this. So the other consideration, the tactical consideration to make is, do we go crazy and drop it all the way down here to dodge the nausea, or do you know what? We say, you know what? That's too much processing expenses. I'm not going to pay it. Let the people be nauseous. Well, you know what? We're going to see how much the people put up with the nausea here. Because I have a feeling it'll be less than profitable if we leave that as is. Now, distillers are going to be a little bit tricky in this layout here, in this form, yeah, because the red's it's facing the wrong way. We could put you over here. Well, you know what? I'm not going to have room. I'm going to have to go for the I'm going to have to wait for the ionizers because I'm not going to have the room for all of this stuff plus something to actually make the medication into medication. So, with that being said, I'm just going to leave this line alone for a little bit. Now, let's see. What else can we do? Oh, we can buy this plot over here. Well, hang on. How long do we have until our 3 months still to go? All right. You know what? We're going to fast forward until we get our ionizer ready, because we're going to need that ionizer for space-saving purposes. So I'll see you guys on the flip side. Okay, we're back. So we got ourselves our ionizer, and we also finished the alternative delivery sub-project. Now, this by itself doesn't give us anything. It unlocks other techs, which means this creamer. We want this creamer, absolutely. So we're going to assign 2 of our scientists there. I'm going to leave 1 scientist idle and let him start generating us some more research points. But now we can use the ionizer. So let's go back to our production floor here. And we got our ionizer. And oh, look at that! Look at that fit! Look at that fit! This was made for an ionizer here. Look at that fit, like a freaking glove. I love it. Now this is going to we need to drop the concentration by 4 in order to activate Ease's asthma. This will drop it by 3, so we can do that plus a dissolver, a single dissolver. That's not a problem. Yeah, we'll just run it through there. And then have you loop around back here. We can get our pill pressers like that. Such a tight squeeze. I love. You have no idea. The OCD in me loves this game because it allows me to just find ways to use almost every square inch of my factory here. In this one little space down here, we've got ourselves 3 product lines, 2 level 2s and a level 1, all crammed in here. Alright, so this is going to zap it with the ions, which will drop its concentration. This will further inactivate the asthma. Monoside oil, apparently our final product. Again, the game generates random names and random colors for these things, so it's just a visual quirk to be entertained by. I don't think you should approach this with a chemistry major in mind. All right, let's come up with a nifty name for this. Chestmate. Let's call it Hackmaster. Alright, so what are we doing here? So we're making 114 bucks profit a pill. Not nearly as good as our AA special here, but you know what? It's still pretty good. And here's the other interesting thing to note. We go here to cures, and we go here to where are we? Liver disease, right here. You'll see that the market is only so large for every type of cure. Now, right now it's at 45% saturation, which means we could probably build up another whole line of liver disease pills and sell them on there, and the market could take it. But if competitor moves in and the market becomes oversaturated, the net demand is going to go down and the price is going to tank. This is where, especially on the harder levels, your competitors can really be a thorn in your side, because they'll just flood the market with their own drugs that you're trying to do, and then your price, the thing that was $150 a pill profitable is now suddenly making you $2 a pill, and you're like, oh, what the heck happened to that? So that's something to keep in mind. But for diversity's sake, we're going to keep on keeping on here. We're not going to do repeats. What I do want to do is those stomach ulcers. See, look at that, 119% of normals because of that special event. Look at that. You can see the price graph going up there. And even if it drops back down to normal levels, this is still a pretty good thing. It's better than the asthma anyway. So I think that's going to be our next target here, is these stomach ulcers. Alright, so in order to do that, well, obviously we have tapped all of our space here. Now we could go tapping into this, but it only provides one door. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. I mean, yeah, you could later buy into here, but no, I don't want that. We're gonna go to a different building over here and buy up this one, because this one comes with 2 doors. Also, these get more expensive as you go along. In harder difficulties, it gets more expensive more quickly, so keep that in mind. Alright, so let's make ourselves some gut busters, some stomach ulcer stuff. So, to do that, let's remind ourselves. Now, we're already using this stuff for the acid reflux. We're just going to be treating it differently in order to transform it. So it needs to be 16 to 18 and send it through an evaporator. So, well, we're at a 20, so we only need to drop it by 2. So I can do, we can go through the dissolvers. We don't need to get too fancy. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. Actually, why don't we do this down here? Yeah, that'll be better. Perfect. So wrap you around, and then it wants to be sent through an evaporator, which actually will just bring it back down, bring it back to the other direction, concentration-wise. But that's what actually physically transforms it, is it's going through that evaporator. All right, we will import more of this. Also, just with the strain on market saturation for a particular cure, there's also a finite supply of each ingredient, and if everyone in the world starts buying it, the raw material price is going to go up. So you have to be mindful of what your competitors are doing, and they can really hurt your bottom line if you're not careful. Alright, acid reflux gets turned into stomach ulcers, and we have a golden window of opportunity. We can bring it down to just 1 point, so exactly a 12 will let us dodge constipation and still get the stomach ulcers effect. So I think I know what we want to do here. We gotta get some ionization going here. So 19 drops it to 16, drops it to 13, and then one more distiller. So two ions on a distiller will get us where we need to go. Yeah, you can do that. Actually, better yet, why don't we do the dissolver first? Because this is kind of, yeah, this is good, kind of good territory for it to fit in nice and cleanly. So you go up here. And yeah, you go up here. We're not wasting too much space. So that will get it to our desired concentration. And then all we got to do is make it into pills, which we have plenty of room to do. Now, yeah, there's nothing else I want to be using this space for, so I don't need to be crazy insane with how I budget it. If I were more forward-thinking, I would have put all this jumble of machinery up here because we would be expanding it down here. So, but you know, I'm not going to redo the whole thing. This is good enough. There we go, and there we go. Huzzah! And once we let all this cook, yep, we'll change it to stomach ulcers, and now we're just going to drop it down by 1, down to an 18. And a couple of ionizers. Oh yeah, let me see if we can cheapen the ionizers a little bit. No, we haven't got our things yet. Ah, but we got a new ingredient. Continental mercuriox steam. Alright. And it's an antihistamine. That's actually not a bad antihistamine, because it doesn't go anywhere near the inflamed skin. And we'll look into it more in a moment. Alright, so we got these ionized here. Got these pills coming up here. We'll name them certain... vomit catcher. Spicy meatball. masher. There we go. What do we got here? The Breath Buddy. Oh, so he's moved into asthma medication. So we are now directly competing against that. Let's look at some of my ratings here. So a couple of D's. Yeah, they're not happy about those nightmares. See, having those side effects can drop your drug rating, and your lower drug rating will actually cause it to lower in price. And E's asthma, yeah, they're not too happy about the nausea. Well, hopefully our creamer will save our skins here. But at least the acid reflux is working nominally. All right. So, oh yeah, let's take a look at our new toy here. All right, so yeah, we could make a real cheap and easy level 1 cure out of this, or we could increase the concentration to a 4 to a 6, hit it with a dissolver, and upgrade it to alleviates insomnia. Now, what's alleviates insomnia pay? Not too shabby. Not too shabby, actually. Oop, and hey, we got our creamer. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? You know what? I'm going to just leave our guys on... we'll leave our guys idle and just generate a lot of science points, because we got some upgrading to do. Alright, so... So let's actually replace some of our pill makers with creamers, at least the ones that have side effects. Now, whether or not I'm going to be able to fit in a creamer, that's to be determined, because again, every building has a different footprint and layout. So we're going to get rid of these, and we'll get rid of these here. A creamer. Oh, actually, that works out perfectly. Alright, the layout is absolutely perfect here. Now, unlike the pill printer, which has a cycle time of 2, this only has a cycle time of 1. So this one thing will be able to handle the whole line and spit out the creams. And again, not only does it add $30 to the value of the medicine, but it also cuts the strength of the negative effects in half, which is awesome. So people will start complaining about it less. And is this the other one? Yes, that's the one. That one has the nightmares. So we're going to creamerify this one as well. Oh, and that one works out perfectly too. Oh, I love it when layouts work. Sometimes they do not work out well, and you're just like you're using up half the factory to make a left turn. Alright, so we're going to sell the last of our pills here, but soon it's going to prompt us to name a new medicine. Alright, so over here, Chesties, Pinstar's Vapo Rub, and over here, let's call it the Hangover Detox Special. So now we're not selling those pills anymore. We are now in the cream business, and you know what? We're making more money for it. And then over time, the market will determine if the drop in the side effects effectiveness is going to be good enough to improve its grade. It always starts off at a C, but over time the market will determine if, once people start reporting in side effects, if there are any. For these others, these don't have side effects, or at least none that are active, so we don't need to go for the creamer. I mean, we could, but I like a variety. Alright, so let's go and, well, we'll get started with this Mercuriox stream here. And yeah, we're going to see about getting it to a level 2, because maybe if we're lucky, we might be able to get this to a level 3. We don't know what's level 3 until we upgrade it to level 2. So let's get you to level 2. What has enough room for me to do this in? I'm liking this one. What else you got here? Stomach ulcers are back down to normal. And yeah, the liver detox special, he's competing with us again. Yeah, we can get rid of these since we're not selling them anymore. Ooh, they like the spicy meatball masher. It's at a B, so we must have stumbled on a pretty effective grade for the drug here. We're already back down to a D here for the hangover cure. You can upgrade the creamer to further reduce that, but you know what? It's a 5% drop in drug price, so it's not the end of the world. All right. Yeah, you know what? I think we're going to pause here, and then in our next episode, we'll get started with our new ingredient. And actually, speaking of our new ingredient, one other thing I want to do before we finish up here is, yes, we are using this stuff now. So we want to, yeah, we want to make that a little bit cheaper. And then we can actually increase the effectiveness of one of these others, but actually it would be, might as well buy this one. How is our profit? Our profit's good enough. Let's throw it down. Let's throw it down here. Okay, we spent our extra points. Let's go send you guys off to discover the spiny fig, which will also have a catalyst to it. So we might be able to do something fancy with that. So in our next episode, we'll get started with our new medicine. See if we can't get ourselves a level 3 cure going here. So if you like this episode and want to see more like it, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave me a comment. Good, bad, or indifferent. Your feedback is always welcome. So until next time, this has been Pinstar, signing out. See ya.